This video is out of Mobile, Alabama, and it is another instance of why we must always be on high alert when going to the gas station. Now, I couldn't find any audio for this video, but let's watch because there are several key lessons to be learned. First, we see our victim driving up to the pumps in this gold car, and as she's driving in, we see our perp acting as if he's walking away, but then we see him turn back around and he actually hides behind the adjacent pump to get a better view of his would-be victim. And you can see him size her up, and once he identifies her as an easy target, he begins to walk towards the store slowly. But he continues to look in her direction and then decides that he's going to make contact with her. And our victim has complete tunnel vision here, and the perp is able to completely ambush her. Now, she tries her best to struggle, but you can tell the perp is much bigger than her, and he is eventually able to just throw her to the ground pretty brutally, and he takes her keys and makes a break for her car. So you see that she attempts to run after him, and they square off for a few seconds, but she ultimately makes the correct decision to get out of there, and he takes off with her car. Now, let's look at the lessons learned. This is a scary and quite frankly disturbing incident, but there were several pre-attack indicators that could have avoided this situation altogether if they were given the right attention. I would like to note that this video is at 7:30 in the evening and there's plenty of daylight, so just understand that not all attacks occurred during the hours of darkness. I highly recommend that when you pull into a service station that you start doing your initial assessment and get a feel for the environment. Even if it's a station that you regularly use and you feel comfortable at, you have to take note of anything out of the ordinary, and if something seems off, drive away, find another gas station. It may be inconvenient, but I can bet that the lady in this video could attest that having your car stolen from you is pretty inconvenient as well. We see our perp turn around here, and he's using these pumps to assess his prey. Ladies, gentlemen, this is a perfect example of when you need to get out of the danger zone. If our would-be victim would have taken a quick look around, he is sending clear pre-attack indicators, and even if she would have stayed in her vehicle, kept it lock and running, and watched him, the whole event may have been avoided. She would have seen that he was preying on her, and she could have drove off without getting out of the car. But she exits the car and has complete tunnel vision as she walks towards the store and completely ignores this person, making a beeline towards her. A little bit of situational awareness in this instance could have changed the outcome of this scenario. Now, this is an absolute ambush, and you have to ask yourself, how quickly can you go from zero to fighting for your life, and do you have the skill set to do so? And I'd also recommend carrying a force multiplier if your state allows it and know how to use it under stress. Whether that's a firearm, OC spray, or a taser, any force multiplier will just give you options, but you have to have the proper mindset, the proper training, and refuse to be a victim. If she had seen this man walking towards her, she could have created some distance and bought herself some time. Now, I would never advocate escalating the situation directly to deadly force, but she could have learned a lot about his intentions just by reading his body language, and if he continued to advance on her, she could have counter-ambushed prior to him getting within her reactionary gap, or at least made him think twice about continuing his assault. Now, I don't see any weapons on his end, but I think the fact that he's significantly bigger exposes her to a high likelihood of enduring great bodily harm or even death. Normally, I would advocate for everybody to default to compliance if possible, because in my opinion, it's not worth losing your life or taking someone's life over property. But she didn't have the chance to comply, and he grabs her, throws her to the ground, and steals her keys. Now, one thing I want everyone to have in the back of their minds is that no one is going to save you, and you have to be prepared to defend yourself. Now, there are other people that are at this gas station, but you cannot rely on anyone else to be a part of your protection plan. You can see that there is a good Samaritan that attempts to pull his vehicle over to the incident, but that's nearly 20 seconds after the initial contact, and that's more than enough time for somebody to cause great bodily harm, and the perp at that point had already stolen the keys and is on his way to steal the car. You have to admire the fight in this victim as she runs towards the perp in an attempt to stop him from taking her car, but this could have cost her, and if you are out of the danger zone, stay out of the danger zone. She could have used that Escalade as a barrier between her and the perp, let him steal the car, and get on the phone with the authorities. The news story reports that this perp was arrested the next day and is facing charges of third-degree robbery. I would love to hear your thoughts on this incident down in the comments section. Overall, this was an unfortunate incident, but we are lucky no one was seriously hurt. We cannot view gas stations as a zone of safety, and we must maintain situational awareness, and above all else, we must always refuse to be a victim. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching.